Greetings everyone, I welcome you all to your second class trial. Now, before we begin, let me go over a brief explanation of the class trial rules to refresh your heads. Your goal is simple, to find the culprit, the blackened, amongst all of you, to find out which one of you students managed to kill your fellow classmates. Chara, the ultimate monster hater, was the first victim of the class trial. Followed up by Surge, the ultimate hero. Both victims have died because of one of you in this class trial. Your goal is to figure out who done it and solve which one of you managed to kill Surge, the ultimate hero, because he was dead the longest and that is your objective. Find out who killed Surge, but I will not stop you from talking about Chara's murder, if you so wish. If you all win and successfully solve the murder of Surge, you all get to go free while the blackened will be executed. However, if you vote the wrong person, the blackened will win, be exempt from all motives, and get to choose whether they want to execute someone or let another person leave the killing game due to the new motive. So they get to choose? Yep. Anyways, that's all the class trials of the rules. Have fun, everybody.
I don't like this. This is only the second class trial and I'm already noticing a difference. The more dead people, the more despair seems to be aroused within this trial room. But it's not like I have a choice whether to be here or not. We have to solve their murders. We have to solve Surge's to help Brock out. But we have to do the same for Chara, for Azrael. We have to deal with both of them.
Alright, we're back in this again, all of you. So, here's the deal. Where are we starting? Do we start with Chara, or do we start with Surge?
Well, our goal is to figure out Surge's murder, right? Wouldn't it be best if we tackle Surge first? It makes the most sense.
Indeed, it is the case we are meant to solve for this class trial, to count. It is the one who has the culprit we need to find, not Chara.
But we should still talk about Chara's murder, right? We can't just leave them out of the dark. They're right. Chara died for some reason. Someone must have killed her just as much as Surge. So, we need to solve her murder as well.
Right, let us make a decision. Are we starting with Surge's murder, or are we starting with Chara's?
Well, even though Chara's murder is technically not important to everything, it's still nice to go ahead and try and solve their murder.
Exactly. See, we had a similar two-victim case, and solving the first one first was what we ended up doing in order to be able to figure things out in the end.
Exactly. So even though the murder isn't the one you're going for, it can help clear up a lot of things for the other murder.
So I suggest that is the one you start with. Start with Chara's murder and see what you can find.
Okay, so we start with Chara's murder. It seems only fair. But if that's the case, where exactly do we start with her murder?
Well, there was a lot at the crime scene. We could take anything for granted. The bloody messages from Chara, I think. The scratch marks, her hair found on the floor. There was a lot. Where do we start?
Well, if I were to make my call on it, could we perhaps start with the apparent murder weapon?
The murder weapon? But was there even one? I mean, we didn't find any, did we?
I'm pretty sure there was something that could have caused those wounds on Chara. I mean, there has to be.
Well, that's a good place to start. Finding out the murder weapon.
Just like last time, this shouldn't be too hard for you all. We're starting in the exact same place as the last case, the murder weapon. This shouldn't be too hard, but only so many of us are deciding to contribute to this discussion. Brock seems so pissed at Surge's death. He seems like he's going to kill the moment he realizes who the culprit of Surge is. Roy seems like they're trying to help, but after Junior's death, they don't really know what to do. They seem concerned on the inside. And Azrael, he's just so sad and miserable over Chara's death. Even without their help, we're gonna have to try. We're going to have to figure out what did this. We have to solve Chara's murder first, and then we can move on to Surge's. Now let's think. The murder weapon. Let's start off the same place as last time. What do we think was used to kill Chara? We all split up, so we didn't really all find everything that could have killed Chara. The Monocube of House said that her wounds were intricate and small, didn't it?
This means that whatever killed her had to be something small. Chara was always on about that fencing pole or whatever. What if that was used to cause those small wounds on her?
No, that's wrong. I'm sorry, Boo, but that doesn't seem right. I think there's another weapon that could have been used instead of that fencing post.
What do you mean? Kara was always talking about that damn fencing post. The moment she saw it in the storage room, she had something going with it.
Yes, but that fencing post didn't have any blood on it, or didn't seem to have anything to do with the case itself. We have found an actual better, more likely murder weapon, didn't we? Dreambirds? Starlo? They're right. There was actually a weapon that was much better that could have been used. Me and Starlo, along with Greninja, found a very, very small knife hidden between a few boxes in the storage room. Yes, and this one was also covered in blood, for some odd reason.
Well, if it was covered in blood, obviously it had to have been used to kill Kara. I mean, it wouldn't make sense for it to have killed Surge. Exactly! There's no way a small knife like that could have killed Surge. I mean, come on. We checked his body and there were no wounds saying that he did.
Brock, we're not accusing Surge right now of anything, or anyone else of killing someone of Surge. We're only accusing what could have been used to kill Kara, and we're pretty sure that knife could have done it.
That knife would fit with the wound on their abdomen, on the side of their chest. And along with this, it would also fit with the slice on their neck.
Speaking of those two wounds, do we know which one of those could have been used to kill Kara? Didi is right. There was one on the side of her chest and one on the neck. It didn't say which one caused her death, or to even say a cause of death in the Monokuma file even. Because of this, I feel like one of them must have caused her death, but we're not figuring out which one.
The slice on the neck would have been fatal, wouldn't it? Well, not exactly. They would have to bleed out first. But they didn't bleed out much from the neck, more so than normal. I would suggest that abdomen wound must have been there lots longer.
But if more blood came out of her abdomen wound than the one on her neck, where exactly how did she die? By which wound? I don't think we have enough information right now to decide which one of those wounds could have killed Kara. After all, one of them must have been used as the cause of death, but definitely both were caused by the knife. Kara had a weird obsession for knives. I really didn't think it would be the thing that would kill her in the end. Azrael, I still feel very bad for him. He's very wounded. He's been struggling to think only on the downsides of Kara, even though he really should be thinking about the positives. But he's not gonna do that until we figure out his culprit. But how are we gonna do that?
Ugh, why are we focusing on which specific wound was used to kill Kara? Don't we already know we have the evidence to what could be the culprit right at our fingertips?
I don't have fingertips.
Aren't we forgetting some of the most crucial pieces of evidence in this entire thing? Does no one forget that we found that pile of brown hair in the crime scene?
Pile of brown hair?
Yes, there was brown hair at the crime scene, beside Kara's body. It was very small. We don't know whose hair it could belong to.
Because of this, it could belong to anyone with brown hair.
Exactly my point. See, if we assume that brown hair is part of the culprit, then we immediately have 4 suspects. Brown hair must have gone there somehow. And if we assume that brown hair was only there because it belonged to one of the killers, then we immediately have suspects. Rockruff, Eggman, Diddy Kong, and Donkey Kong. And if I also were to put my money on it, I wouldn't be surprised if one of the Kongs ended up being the ones to kill Kara. After all, both of them have a good reason to want to kill, to get the other out of the killing.
Shut up, Boo. I wouldn't kill anyone.
And I wouldn't either, not for my brother. It's too much. You're one to talk, Diddy Kong. You were the one who said that it may have been a good idea.
Well, Boo, didn't you also suspect me and Eggman as well?
Yes, you're both suspects. All 4 of you are. Don't you all realize that it could be one of them?
I don't know if I agree with Boo. Everyone seems to have different reactions to this information. But could it really be one of them? Just because of that brown hair? Boo may be wrong. I'm gonna have to prove him wrong. I'll have to do it.
There was brown hair right beside Kara's dead body, wasn't there? If anything, that brown hair must belong to the killer.
But then that would mean one of the people with brown hair must have killed Kara. I'm telling you, neither me or Diddy Kong killed Kara.
I mean, that brown hair is the only piece of evidence we have towards the culprit, isn't it?
No, that's wrong.
Sorry to interrupt you, Miss Chalice. That's not true. There's another piece of evidence that can lead to a culprit. What? But isn't the brown hair the only definite piece of evidence?
Come on, Kirby, there's no one else who could have done this, who could have killed them, besides those 4 suspects. They're the only ones with brown hair.
you're right. They are the only ones with brown hair, but they aren't the only ones with claws.
Claws? What are you getting at? Well, alongside Kara's body, there were claw marks found on the wall around all the dead messages. Weren't there?
Yes, there were. Everyone could see that claw mark in between all those messages. I mean, it was very visible.
Okay, so there were claw marks. Big deal. How does this disprove my theory?
It disproves a lot about your theory, Boo.
Excuse me?
Well, with what we have already learned, you claim that the only people who could have killed them were those who had brown hair. But there were also claw marks at the scene, and Kara does not have any claws. Because of this, there must be a different solution. Also, people with claws are suspects. So, if that's the case, those with claws as well are suspects to this murder?
Exactly, and I believe the only ones here with claws are Rockruff, Flareon, and Roy, correct?
Yep, so just saying that the only person that could have done this to Kara with brown hair is irrelevant. We have 4 other people who could have also caused those claw marks and are also suspects.
Ha, see? You're wrong, Boo. Take that.
Ha! Are you foolish or not, Kirby? I mean, come on. You realize that you just overlapped one of our suspects, Rockruff.
Brother. I did, didn't I? But if you overlapped, if Rockruff has brown hair and also has the claw marks, did you do this, Rockruff? No, Azrael, I did not kill Kara. How am I meant to believe you? Everything lines up. I wasn't expecting to frame Rockruff by saying that. I was trying to divert the attention and prove her wrong. But now...
Ha, see? You just gave away our primary suspect. Rockruff has to be the culprit now, and there's no way around it.
Oh, well, you're one to talk, Boo.
Eggman?
Well, what the... Eggman?
What the? Eggman, what is this all of a sudden?
Boo, I didn't think a ghost could be so brainless. Well, I guess you already are. Hey, shut up! Why are you rebuttaling me? It's Rockruff's the only one.
You're forgetting something very big, you idiot. See, Rockruff was one of the people who found the body, along with Flareon and Kirby. This means that they are innocent, because only innocent people can trigger the BDA.
Wow. See, at least someone remembered the rules.
Well, that's good, at least. Exactly, I was there with Flareon and Kirby when it went off.
Because of this, Rockruff could not have been the one to have killed Kara, even if she overlaps on both the claw marks and the brown hair. And everyone else is only one suspect of each.
Gah! I didn't think I'd be defeated by some goddamn scientist.
You watch your mouth. I've probably realized more of this case than you may think.
Realized more? What do you mean?
I'm not saying you all are idiots, but I've realized something. Something that was unexpected, just by hearing the arguments of the claw marks over the brown hair. I wasn't expecting to realize something such as it. You realized something? What did you realize, Eggman? It's hard for me to explain without getting a bunch of hate to put up on me for thinking such a dumb thought.
But what is it?
I mean, Kirby, you told me I need to try and be more like myself while we were investigating the rooms, didn't you? I'm taking charge in things, and I know what I saw. I pieced something together that is only possible. It has to be the only logical conclusion that puts both the claw marks and the brown hair together into one piece of evidence that proves the killer.
You're right. No one has equal claw marks and an equal amount of brown hair. It's not even possible. But there is one other option. You have to listen to me, Kirby. I know something that you don't, and you'll only get that information out from me. What if Eggman is right? Maybe I should listen to him. If he has an idea as to everything that's going on with Kara's murder, maybe I should listen. I don't have a choice, do I? They may know something more. I have to listen and hear out what he has to say.
As I saw Kara's crime scene, I noticed a couple discrepancies in the crime scene itself. Firstly, only those with claws could have been the ones who have made those claw marks on the wall. And everyone here with brown hair has also some sort of alibi that prevents them from being the culprit. But isn't it also strange that Kara wrote 5 separate dying messages before she died?
with not a single one telling us of our culprit's identity? None of these clues make sense, Kirby. Not a single one. But if you take my solution to it all, it's all pieced together perfectly. You must know what that solution I have come to is, Kirby. Don't you?
I understand your claim.
If nobody had claw marks or brown hair, and the bloody messages never pointed to a culprit. Eggman, we're so early in the trial, you can't be suggesting...
It's the only option, Kirby. You realize that, right?
What is the only option? Did you guys come to a consensus of some kind? What did you figure out?
We came to a conclusion that was unexpected, to say the least.
Huh? What do you mean by that?
What did you figure out? Tell us.
Well, think about it. Nobody has claws and brown hair. The one person who does is automatically innocent due to the BDA. Thank you. And we all know that there were all those bloody messages around Kara's body, correct? They all seem to be going against whoever killed her. But if we assume that all of those bloody messages were written by Kara, isn't it strange that none of them seem to also line up with her writing? She would have definitely said her culprit if it was her, wouldn't it?
Exactly. It is very strange. I'm curious why they didn't say their culprit.
Well, there's only one reason to that idea. That reason being...
because Kara was the culprit. Wait, Kara is her own culprit? What are you saying?
I hate to say this. I really do, but it's the only thing that makes sense. Kara, because of all this evidence, Kara must have killed herself.
Kara, what?
Kirby, what does that claim?
Kirby? What are you saying?
Kara killed herself? That is the dumbest thing I've heard this whole trial. What's better than your theory? It's the only thing that makes sense as well. See, there's a bunch of things and clues that add up together. If you piece them together, it means Kara must have killed herself. But how in the hell does that work?
I don't see how any of that makes sense. I mean, but the claw marks and the brown hair. Kara doesn't have claw marks, and the brown hair had to be from someone else, right?
Yes. How are you even meant to prove that this happened? I mean, you have no proof that Kara could have done this to herself.
And even the idea alone is such a reach.
How do you even suspect to believe that Kara must have done this to herself? You must have a reason, right?
Of course I do. The brown hair being one of them.
Oh, really? And how is this possible? Who could that brown hair belong to that isn't one of the other suspects?
Who could that brown hair have belonged to? Well, if my theory is correct, there's only one option that could have belonged to. I got it! That brown hair could have only belonged to one person. That person being Kara herself.
What?
That was her hair? Yes, the hair that we found. It must be brown, but everyone that has a brown hair has an alibi of some kind. Because of this means that this hair must be from the only one other person that was at the crime scene. Kara herself. Would Kara really do something like that? It makes no sense.
And what about all the other pieces of evidence that prove it wasn't her? Like other pieces?
Well, I have answers to all of that as well. If our theory is correct, then this must mean, with all the other pieces of evidence that I can explain, Kara must have killed her. It's not true. None of it is true. Kirby, what is wrong with you? Asriel, you think Kara would kill herself? She wouldn't do such a thing. I can't believe you would make such a claim. Asriel, please, if you just listen to me, I can clear it all for your head. I'm doing this for your own sake. To prove Kara, this is worse than what finding the killer would have done. Now you're accusing my sister of killing herself. It's not possible. That was a legitimate crime scene that could have only been caused if someone murdered her. You're missing the biggest pieces of evidence, Kirby. The claw marks. Claw marks. You think that's what proves it wasn't that? Yes. I mean, what else? You can explain the brown hair, but you can't explain that. Kara doesn't have claws. You're right. Kara doesn't have claws. But I may have another solution. I'm so sorry, Azrael, but it's the only logical conclusion. I'll have to explain it to you. I have to.
My sister. You believe Chara would kill herself? No, it makes no sense. There's no reason why she would do something like it. She wouldn't kill herself. Never. But we've ruled out the brown hair being able to belong to anyone. The only person is Chara, because everyone else has alibis with brown hair. But what about the claw mark? The claw mark must have easily belonged to someone else but Chara. Chara doesn't have claws. There's no way that kind of evidence could have been fabricated. It's not possible, Kirby. You realize that?
Those claw marks couldn't have been fabricated?
No, that's wrong. What? No. Ah!
You see, Azrael? The knife could have been easily used to fabricate the claw marks, just by scratching it. And if we believe Chara's the killer, then she would obviously have possession of the knife. There's no way around it. You're...
What the heck? But no. That's where you're wrong, Kirby.
No, Azrael, it's the only thing that makes sense. That knife... I know Chara used to be in the thing with knives, but you're realizing something big. That knife was all the way in the corner of the room, away from Chara. And if Chara had it to support your theory that she killed herself, that's not possible, because both those wounds would have killed her instantly, or very quickly. No, the abdomen stab wouldn't, but the neck would. What? The only murder weapon was the knife. Because of this, nothing else could have been used to kill Chara beside it, but it was all the way across the other room. If she slit her neck with it, then you're wrong, because the only way she could slit her neck was if she had the knife, but it wasn't by her body. So you're wrong, Kirby.
But the knife was the only murder weapon, right? Then there's no way she could have moved it. Am I... No, there is one theory. No, that's wrong. Not like this. Chara.
I got it. No, Azrael. There is one way Chara could have used the knife to kill herself, while also being able to move it. It's not possible. If she slit herself in the neck with it, or even stabbed herself, both would have killed her, and very quickly. There's no way she could have taken the time to move the knife, when blood would have gone everywhere. That's not the thing. She didn't get up and move the weapon that she would have used to kill herself. She threw it. What? Threw it? Are you saying Chara threw the knife after she killed herself with it? From the slash to the neck? Yes. If because of this, we can also assume what her cause of death was, if my theory is correct. Picture this. Chara is trying to kill herself. She has drawn the claw marks with the knife, and she has cut off part of her hair, right by the crime scene. She lays up against the wall. Now, she stabs herself in the abdomen, writes messages all along the wall. Yes, those messages would have been fake then, because she was the real killer. That's why she never revealed her culprit during all those dying messages. And that's why she made it seem like there was one. But if she stayed up against the wall after stabbing herself, then I ask you, how did the knife get moved? Well, you said she threw it. But at the same time, she wouldn't have been able to give herself the neck wound. Otherwise, she would have died. Well, what if she did both? What? Well, the only thing left that we haven't accounted for was the neck wound. What if she took the knife and slit her neck, and the moment she did so, with the same hand, threw the knife. So she took the knife like this, cut her neck, and then threw it. And that's how it went across the room. All the way towards those boxes? I mean, there's no other thing that could have caused that knife to move. We have evidence that no one else could have been in the same room that Chara was in. And because of this means that Chara could have been the only one to have killed herself. She did all of this. No, that's not true. You can't believe that Chara would kill herself. She wouldn't do something like it. I swear, it's not like her to do such a hideous thing. I mean, she was psychopathic. Come on. Do you all realize this theory? It's outlandish. For her to cut off her own hair, to make claw marks using that knife. kill herself with it, and just to throw it, she wouldn't do it. She still has me. Everyone at the feast would have known that she had friends, and she was getting to know everyone. Chara wouldn't kill herself. She had no reason to do so. She may have been violent, but it doesn't make any sense for her.
Asriel may just be right. What, Chalice?
If Chara really killed herself, then it just wouldn't make sense. You realize that, right?
How wouldn't it make sense? I mean, come on. Everything would have been prepared for her. It would all have been perfectly set up.
But why would she do it? Why would she kill herself without reason? I mean, she must have done something. It couldn't have been the motive, because then she wouldn't be around to be able to claim that she was trying to get Asriel out if she had won the class trial.
Well, she has a point there.
But does that even work? Could that really have been it?
There's no way that something like that could be the case. They've already proven this far that Chara could have killed himself, and I believe it.
But there's nothing that could say that she did, right? I mean, no one would know. It's not like she could kill herself and then immediately claim that after other people, after this class trial, found out that she had killed herself, even after winning, that she could pick Asriel to lead the game, right? That's definitely right. It's true. It's not like Chara would want to kill herself. She has no reason to.
Yeah, the motive doesn't end up affecting everything after she's dead. Even if she won the class trial by killing herself after she's dead, she won't be there to confirm that, well, in the case of this new motive, Asriel will get to leave the game.
Exactly. Why would Chara kill herself?
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense, does it?
Yeah, I'm struggling to see the point as well. I don't get why she would do it.
Well, the rules of the motive can be broken and shifted, like we've learned from Coral himself. Because of this, she may have found a loophole, but we can't say. There must be a reason that she could have killed herself.
They're right. There's no way for us to say for certain that she killed herself without reason. She wouldn't have done it if there wasn't a reason. She must have known something, or done something.
Like what? Do we all realize right here that our decisions are split?
Why would you say that?
Because I want it to happen. The Scrum Debate, yeah.
Did I hear split? Are we doing a Scrum Debate already?
Oh, well, at least Boo intentionally did it. He must be onto something. I can see that menace in his eyes.
So, what's the debacle if Chara was murdered or committed suicide? Well, both of those are very tough decisions. I wonder which conclusion you both will come to.
So you're making us do this again, to fight between all those.
Yep, it's the only logical conclusion. Now then, the rules of the Scrum Debate are simple, the same as last time. If you believe that Chara ended up being murdered, you can go onto this side. But if you believe that she ended up committing suicide, you can go onto this side. I wonder how this is going to go. Foo-hoo-hoo.
So, we are doing the Scrum Debate.
I can't believe we're doing a Scrum Debate over something so bad.
We have to pick a side though, don't we? See, pick my side. You have to believe me. Chara had no reason to kill herself. It's not possible. No, those who believe me are right. And Eggman. Both of us know what we're doing. We came to this conclusion together. There must be a reason, and we can prove that reason. We just have to work together. They have to believe us. Otherwise, we'll lose.
There are so many pieces of evidence that can prove that it was someone else besides Chara who killed her.
Meta Knight.
All the other evidence that can prove also links to Chara being our possible suspect.
Chances of that brown hair coming from Chara? How is that even possible? Dreambirds.
Everyone else with brown hair has an alibi. There's no way that any of them could have done it besides Chara.
Chances of those claw marks being fabricated is incredibly low, you realize.
Rockruff. Everyone with the claws has an alibi. And she had the knife. She could have easily faked those claw marks with it. But we were with Chara during the feast. There's no way she could have gotten the knife then.
Medic. She was working with knives. What's to say she didn't take one before everything in that night?
But the wounds, any attack from them would have been fatal. She couldn't have moved the knife. Eggman.
If she slit her neck and then threw the knife, then that's how it could have gone moved. But if she's killed herself with the neck slash, then there's no way she could have written all the dead messages.
Starla. The dead messages by stabbing herself in the abdomen and using that blood to write them. But they all implied a killer. That means there had to have been someone who killed Chara, right? I'll do it. No, if Chara killed herself, it would explain why she didn't say her killer outright, only referring as a mystery to make it seem like someone did kill her. No, Chara wouldn't have. It's over, Azriel. It's the only option. This is our answer. That's it, Azriel. It's over. Chara must have killed herself. There's no way around it.
So, Chara really did do it to herself. Oh, tragic.
No, that's not true. You're missing the big point. The motive. The motive only works if the person who would kill would stay alive. If she would kill herself, then how would any of it provide for her? She wouldn't pick anyone to leave or anyone to get executed. It makes no sense.
They're right about that. If someone ended up if Chara killed herself, she wouldn't be around to end up winning the game. After all, she wouldn't have been able to do anything about it even.
Yes, there would have been no way for her to claim her victory. No way? But then, what's the point? I mean, it all links together. It has to be a suicide.
Yes, it's the only option.
But if she has no motive for murder,
Then nothing links up. That's the only option. If she didn't have a reason for her to kill, then none of it makes sense.
There is no reason why she would do it by herself.
but there has to be, right?
I mean, how else would it have been able to happen?
She can't kill herself and stay around for the motive. I can't take it anymore.
What the? What's your problem over there?
They've already won. They said it was a suicide. The Scrum Debate is over. I know what actually happened to Chara. What?
What's the...
Huh? Rousey?
Even I'm surprised you know what happened to Chara?
You can't say your culprit out loud. You have to stay quiet.
I can't say the culprit, Monokuma. You realize that. Not only is the Scrum Debate over and I have free will, but their goal is to solve Surge's murder, not Chara's. I'm allowed to say what happened to Chara, because I was there. What do you mean you were there?
What are you talking about, you damn goat? No, that is not...
Monokuma, it's done. I've been waiting way too long. I can't hold it in anymore. I was told to keep it a secret, but now I have the perfect chance. I must say this, Monokuma, and you can't stop me because of the rules. I have free will because I can only hide Surge's killer, not Chara's. Let me say it.
This was...
What do you know, Rousey?
What are you talking about?
Let me explain it, Monokuma. It's not against the rules.
Fine. You can say the killer, but I'm not gonna like it. I guess it isn't relevant to Surge's, so speak it. Fine.
I don't understand. What do you mean what happened to Chara, Azriel? You need to tell us.
We're not solving this case unless you speak up, you bitch.
Fine. The reason Chara is dead, the real reason, was to save you, Azriel. What? Before she died, I ran into her last night.
I had just finished preparing one of the rooms for tomorrow. That's when I met her.
Rousey. Chara? What are you doing here?
I came to look for one of you servants.
Yes? Is there something I can serve you with? This late into the night? What are you doing up anyways?
Oh, nothing, just contriving a little bit of a interesting plan.
A plan? What exactly are you saying?
See, Rousey, I have a little bit of a request for you. Regards to the new motive in the upcoming class trial.
Okay, wait. Upcoming class trial? What are you talking about, Carp?
Well, I don't want to say it too much out loud for anyone else to hear, so I'm gonna whisper it in your ear, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to kill myself tonight.
You're going to what?
Shh!
I said be quiet. We don't want anyone else to hear, but why would you do something like that? You're really not going... Please, the new rules of the class trial say that if I win, I get to pick whoever I want to leave the killing game. And what's more confusing than a suicide that seems like a murder? You're not serious, but why would you want to? Because I want to get my brother out of the killing game. What? See, as I was preparing with the feast with everyone else and we got to know each other about our lives, I realized something. I'm an outcast. I don't fit in with my brother or any of the other people here, or my family even. I don't deserve to leave this killing game. My brother does only. So, I'm going to kill myself and get him exactly what he wants, back with his family. But they're your family too, right? Oh, please. I'm nothing like them. So here's the deal. Since I'm not going to be around to claim once you win the class trial that Asriel gets to live, once I win the class trial, while I'm already dead, I want you to be the one to claim that Asriel gets to go free, from my request personally. You're really doing this, aren't you? Yep. I'm gonna be in the storage room killing myself shortly. I just need your confirmation that you are willing to do this. I don't want you to do it, but if it's... I know I can't change your mind. Yes, once you win the class trial, I will tell Monokuma that you voted for Asriel to be free from the killing game. Thank you. Now then, I'm gonna go to the storage room and present and kill myself. So, good luck. And thank you again, Rouse. I hope to see you in another life. That's what happened. She killed herself for you, Asriel. No, it's not true. She didn't. I get it now. So, she came to you. As a servant, you had to help her. If she won the class trial after killing herself, you would have been the one to say that, for her, Asriel would get to go 3 due to the motive? Yes, I would have said it, but I can't hold it in anymore. Now that Serge is dead, there's no point hiding it. I had to reveal. I'm so sorry, Asriel. I wanted to stop her, but I didn't want to hurt you. I was scared. Shit, I can't believe she's actually getting plotted something. So, she killed herself so that no one would solve her murder and win the class trial for me? Wait. No. No. No, no, no. No, this isn't true. Chara, why would you? Chara, why? Asriel, I'm so sorry. Well, we weren't expecting this. None of us were. Asriel, we're so sorry. It's not over yet. What? It's not over yet. Just because we solved Chara's murder and Rouse confessed, it does not mean we're over. Yeah, we still have the one case that's important to all of this. Surge, did y'all forget? Oh, that's right. I forgot Chara's wasn't irrelevant. We got so caught up into it. We've spent nearly 40 minutes of the video, and we've barely done anything. But it's still relevant. We still need to talk about Surge's murder. It's the key to all of this. That's the one we need to solve. Improve this. And even though it all seem right to vote Chara as guilty, it's not the one we're after right now. We need to figure out who killed Surge among everyone else here. They're right. We have to do it. Finally, we're finally getting to my friend's death. It took you all long enough. They're right. Even though we've proved Chara guilty for her own death, we still have Surge to figure out. We need to figure this out. We need to. Alright. If we're going after Surge next, that's what we're doing. Where do we start? Well, if we're fully going to change the directions of everything, we need to remember what we know of Surge's murder. Their body was found in the kitchen. We found them beside a hammer that was not covered in blood, and we found them along with their broken shades, which is off of their body. And their body was extremely hot. covered in lots of their oil and smoke coming out of their body.
Actually, that begs me to ask, how exactly is Serge dead in the kitchen?
Isn't that area locked up overnight? Well, yes, but the servants got permission from Monokuma to let one of us stay there overnight to keep all the food for the feast warm.
Yeah, I was the one who went over there and offered them to stay in the kitchen. At least one. So wait, you're confessing that this was your fault? What? I mean, come on. There's no way that this would have happened or been killed in the kitchen unless someone stayed and you were the one who convinced them to stay. Really, Coral? Serge is dead because of you, you realize?
Oh, shut up, Donkey Kong. You're not the only one who caused something like it.
What do you mean by that?
Ugh, shut up. Doesn't matter.
Foo-hoo-hoo, but yes, that was what happened. They were allowed to keep one person in the kitchen under my rule overnight, just for the feast, something to help conceal for Junior's death.
Hey, I didn't think he would die, okay? I just did it because I thought it would have been nice, and I didn't mean for it to go this way.
It's alright, Coral. You didn't do anything wrong. None of us that weren't at the feast could have known he was going into the kitchen.
Well, we can't be blaming the servants for Serge's death. After all, if they killed someone by the rules, they would be executed, wouldn't they?
That is true.
See? So it doesn't even matter what happened to them. We need to focus on one of us. Who killed—
Brock, please, calm down. We'll figure it out.
Yes, let us start off with the seemingly same place we did last time. Something that will help us get more information. Why don't we start off with the murder weapon, yet again?
Starting off with the murder weapon.
I think that would be a good choice. Let us start there. Alright, we're doing this over again. We've solved Kara's murder, but now we need to take care of Serge. We need to figure out what happened to him. Let us start by solving his murder weapon.
Serge was found in the kitchen, his oil spilling all over the floor.
Something must have killed him. The question is, what?
The Monokuma file didn't give us any wounds that could help us narrow down what could have done it. And there weren't really many markings on his body that couldn't have hinted at anything.
But there was that sledgehammer. That sledgehammer could have easily done enough into Knuckles to kill him.
No, that's wrong. No, Medic, I don't think that sledgehammer was used to kill Serge.
Huh? Why not?
Well, there was no blood on it. It was very clean. There should have been oil on it at least, that came from Serge. Or at least it would have left indents on Serge's body, but there wasn't any indents or anything. He died in his normal condition. The only odd thing out was that he was electrified very big. And because of that, there is one other thing that could hint that he wasn't killed with the sledgehammer.
Oh, and what could that one thing be, Kirby?
Well, there was a large marking on the back of Serge's body. A black spot, to be precise.
A black spot? Why is this black spot important, Kirby?
Well, whatever it was, it seemed to heat up Serge's body, make him incredibly hot. I'm not sure why it had that side effect, but for whatever reason, that's what ended up being caused by whatever killed him. That black spot must have been caused there by the thing that killed them. Okay, but what could have made such a black spot on their back? I mean, I would expect it on any other part of their body, but on their back? And why would it make Serge get super hot? Well, they did say that they were going to keep all the food warm, right? Maybe it was overheating? What if it was another accidental suicide? No, I don't think that heating up the food would have caused that death. But there is one other thing I recall seeing that could have caused Serge to die.
Oh, really? What is it?
Think, Kirby. There was one object. You weren't mentioned it much, but there was something in your brain that you remember. It may not have been evidence yet, but now that you remember it, there was something. You know what that object is, don't you, Kirby? Ah, I got it! I remember you saying this in passing, Flareon and Chalice. Remember that electrified outlet you mentioned that was in the kitchen? The electrified outlet? Oh, you mean the one that was seemingly overcharged and gave me that huge electric shock? Huge electric shock?
Yes, while we were investigating, well, actually preparing the feast, Chalice said that one of the outlets had ended up shocking her a great amount. It ended up shaking up her entire body for a little bit. It was like an overcharged outlet.
Oh, did I forget to warn all of you about that? I should have done that, but I thought it would have been a fun surprise if
Well, someone ended up stumbling upon it accidentally. Foo-hoo-hoo.
I have a feeling that that electrified outlet, that overcharged one, may have killed Surge. After all, even by touching it, Chalice got immediately shocked. If Surge landed on it, then it would have been enough to overheat his body and kill him. That's why there was no injuries on him. That's why we couldn't find any. The only thing that was on him was that black spot on his back, which would have gone there by overheating.
And that overheating would have been caused
By running into the back of that outlet.
But that's bullshit, Kirby.
Come on, Brock. Are you wanting an answer or no?
I am wanting an answer as to what the hell happened to Surge, but why would he fall back into an outlet? I mean, how does that even work? There has to be an answer, right?
How he was pushed into the outlet? I mean, I'm not saying he was pushed, but he must have done something with the outlet that could have caused him to die like that. It's the only option. But how can we prove it? I mean, we have to prove that theory is right, don't we?
Yes, but in order to do that, we have to go over the order of events of everything.
The order of events?
Yes, here's the only way we can figure out how that happened is if we start from the beginning.
Let us take everything step by step. Even though we don't know much about Surge's murder, if we take that missing middle portion that we don't know, we may be able to find something that can possibly lighten things up about the truth.
The order of events?
I mean, it's a good idea. I don't know where Rockruff's getting at, but maybe if it's really going to help me, I should listen in. I may learn something that may help prove that why this theory has to be right, and how Surge died
By the electrified outlet. It all started when you all were deciding on who would guard for the feast, correct?
Yes, I had initially offered to guard the feast, but Surge insisted he win instead.
We all didn't think that he would die that night, so we all let him go without any issue. But he did die that night, earlier than Chara, by running into that outlet. But how could he have run into that outlet? I mean, it was pitch black at night, wasn't it?
Well, maybe we have something that proves that it indeed happened overnight and he was shocked by the outlet. I agree with that.
There was one thing that could prove to us that there was some kind of electrified outlet Surge that ran into.
What? Wait, really?
Rockruff, your alibi.
Me searching overnight for the mastermind?
No, there was one other part to it. Tell everyone what you saw.
Oh, that's right. You were searching for the mastermind last night, correct?
I was searching for the mastermind. I searched all the open rooms and I stayed up very late. While I was staying up late, I ended up stumbling across something in the kitchen. I ended up coming across a light that was seemingly found in the kitchen. I had no clue where that light had come from. I wasn't sure how that happened, but it was seemingly floating around for a while before it vanished. A light that had vanished? But how does that work?
Well, unless it was from the electrified outlet, I can see something like that, shocking Knuckles, and being invisible to Rockruff. Well, couldn't Rockruff has just been the one to kill him? After all, if they were alone, they could have easily had ample time.
But Rockruff never knew that the kitchen would have been accessible overnight. Because of that, there's no way it would have been possible for them.
Exactly. See, there's no way it would have worked for me.
So Rockruff didn't kill Surge, okay. And that means no one who wasn't there that night, who didn't know about the kitchen being open for that one night, couldn't have killed him either, correct?
Yes, because they wouldn't have known the kitchen would have been open.
That means that only those who were available at the feast could have killed them.
Someone who was helping us did kill Surge. Oh god, no. Yes, and if that's the case, that means that yellow light that Rockruff must have seen must have come from the electrified outlet, right?
Wait a moment.
Huh? Eggman?
What's your deal now, Eggman?
Rockruff, when exactly did you see this yellow light?
Actually, I can narrow it down precisely. It was 11:05.
11:05.
That would be 4 minutes after Surge had died. And that doesn't line up.
4 minutes after Surge had died? But the electrified outlet, maybe he died after getting shot?
I feel like that electric shock would have killed him immediately, if anything. Yeah, something as electric as that, shocking him, it would have instantly killed him, wouldn't it?
Exactly. And you said the light was floating around?
It was floating around, yes, but the kitchen was pitch dark. I couldn't see anything through it besides that light.
A light that was floating around, not standing still? That doesn't sound like sparks to me, or anything electricity.
You do have a point there.
But what could that light could have been then? I mean, it's hard to see some kind of yellow light floating around. I don't think there was a flashlight or anything.
No, that means it must have been from something else. What could have been used that could have caused that such light?
If the light wasn't from the outlet, then what was it from? I mean, there was nothing that could have created a light. Well, Serge was the only one in there, but they don't have any glowing functions. Well, there would have been one other person in there. Whoever had killed him, right? Whoever would have killed him. Serge would have been guarding the food. And they wouldn't have walked into that electrified outlet, even if they didn't know about it. So... I know the culprit!
What?
You know who did it?
You know who killed him, Kirby. You best say it, right now.
Is that really possible? Already?
Kirby, you know who killed Serge already? This soon.
I know it's early, but if we go by what Eggman says, that floating light couldn't have been caused by Serge or the electrified outlet. It had to have been only made by whoever was in there, the culprit. But then, who's the culprit that could have made that light? The culprit who could have made that light. If Rockruff's alibi is true, that light could have been come from the outlet, and it couldn't have been come from Serge himself. No, and there was no objects that could have come from that made that light. That means it must have been a person, and there's only one person that can emit a yellow light. That person being... You're the only one! There's only one person here who's yellow, who could produce a light like that. Starlo! Wait a minute. Kirby? Starlo?
Yeah, I can see that.
Wait. Starlo? Starlo? There's no way.
Wow. Starlo?
Well, I wasn't expecting that. So, you're telling me I saw Starlo in that window? Yes, it's the only thing that makes sense.
Starlo. Does that mean you killed Serge? Why would...
Hold on a minute. Starlo killed Serge? I do not accept that one bit.
What are you saying?
Starlo, if you really killed Serge, you got a lot coming to you. You hear that?
Yes, that light. It must only...
That light was not Starlo.
What? Yeah, it wasn't.
What are you talking about?
But hold on a second. At least hear me out.
I was with Starlo the whole time. She never left my side and went into the kitchen, Kirby. That is just unreasonable accusations.
Yes, you were. And yes, she did.
No, she did not. Silence! All of you!
Whoa, that was loud.
Kirby, you're the one who's accusing. Speak your mind.
Well, that was forceful. Okay, listen. The only light that could have been produced that could have been yellow, that wasn't an object, wasn't the electrified outlet or Serge, would have been Starlo. Because it was floating around and moving, exactly like you do. That is absurd, Kirby. Okay, first of all,
Starlo, don't stress yourself. Kirby, listen here. I was with Starlo ever since after the feast, even before bed. I have been with her nearly the whole night. There is no way she could have killed Serge. Do you realize that?
I'm struggling to believe it myself. I mean, Starlo. But I can prove that you two are the likely suspects. I can prove that Starlo has a reason to want to be there. I can prove it. Just watch me, Dreambirds. I didn't kill anyone, Kirby. I don't understand why you would be accusing me.
I was with Starlo the entire night, even after we were all together. The moment our discussion after preparing the feast ended, I helped Starlo head to bed.
I didn't see Starlo or the others that night after preparing the feast. I didn't see them either that night. But if the person in the kitchen was Starlo, then how early did they get there?
See? Starlo was with me, and we wouldn't have known Serge would have gone into the kitchen.
No, that's wrong! No, you were at the feast that discussion. You would have known when Coral came by and said to Serge that he would have gone into the kitchen.
Well, just because we were there doesn't mean that we saw it. I'll let you know that just because of that, we didn't know that he would actually be in the kitchen for who knows how long.
I wouldn't have been in there, I swear. I mean, I don't have arms. I couldn't have killed Serge. I don't know what you're saying.
You need to stop this.
But they're right. You were there when we chose Serge to go into and protect all the food for the feast.
And we know it couldn't have been anyone else. That means it must have been those who had seen the feast and known that Serge would have been in there, aka you.
I'm saying it. I didn't kill him. I don't know how much more I can prove it with.
I don't care what you say. You must have done it. It's the only option, you realize.
It's not the only option, because there's a huge flaw in your statement.
Huh? A huge flaw?
How is there a huge flaw in Kirby's claim?
Well, from Rockruff's alibi and what we're accusing of Starlo being the culprit, we're missing some little important big detail. Allow me to demonstrate. Does anyone have some kind of map of the kitchen?
Ah, yes. I do have a map of the kitchen.
Well, no, Eggman, why are you...
Here you go.
Haha, how wonderful.
Damn it.
Allow me to hopefully prove you all wrong, and how this is confusing if it is Starlo. Let me show you a little something. Alright, I may not have been in the kitchen during the feast, but I know for sure bullshit when I see it. Take a look at this. This is the small layout of the kitchen, correct? Now, this would be the door, this would be the window Rockruff would have seen Starlo in, and that is the outlet. Now, if we take this, Serge must have been somewhere in this kitchen, guarding all the food, possibly by the refrigerator where everything was being kept. And where was that, perhaps?
All the food was being kept by the corner, by the outlet.
I see. So if Serge was over here, let me mark that. Alright, now take a look. If Serge was over here in the corner where all the food should have been, he would have been by the outlet, correct? Now, here's the thing. Rockruff said she saw Starlo right over here. That means Starlo would have come in, walked over to Serge, and hit him into the outlet, correct?
Yes, that would be true.
But there's a huge issue with this. If Starlo came from this end and went all the way over here, how would she have pushed Serge into the outlet if she's facing that way and not this way? Do you realize that?
Well, the light was very big. She must have been close by. The window.
And she would have and she couldn't have gone around, otherwise it would have been too small for Rockruff to see the light. And she would have been facing Serge to push them in.
But from Rockruff's alibi, we know that is impossible.
What? But that's not true. Starlo is the only one who could have been seen in that light. That means they must have been in the kitchen at the same time Serge was. And we got Rockruff herself who confessed it. That means it must be her. Why would you accuse me?
Starlo, you don't have to.
I'm telling you, Kirby, I did not kill Serge. Just because you saw some yellow light in there, and Rockruff did, does not mean I would have done it. Starlo, it's the only option. You're the only one who could have been in that kitchen at the time. I wasn't. I don't know how much I can prove it to you. Well, I want you to try. Prove to me how you couldn't have been in the kitchen. I know it is impossible. It has to have been you. I'm telling you, I wasn't in the kitchen. I wouldn't.
Your mouth is full.
If I was the culprit, then none of it would make sense. I know you saw a yellow light and everything, but Rockruff's just saying it. You don't have any other proof besides that I was in the kitchen. But you knew of the crime, Starlo. You were there, and you knew Serge was going into the kitchen. You must have known, and you'd use this to your advantage. Well, what else do you have besides that? What else? Exactly, you have nothing else. See? I mean, just because I may have been seen, quote-unquote seen, by the window, that means there's no proof that I was in there. You have nothing, just because of that one thing. I don't want to hurt you, Starlo. I want to do this normally. You're not armed. I don't have much to arm me, Kirby. I can only rely on my words. I wasn't in the kitchen. I did not walk by the window. I did not kill Serge. If I had walked by the window, I wouldn't have been able to push Serge into the outlet, or even hold the hammer. The hammer? The hammer. No, that's wrong. What? Ah. No, I understand now. You are right about one thing, Starlo. You couldn't have been the one to hold that hammer. See? Just because I was in the kitchen does not mean it was me. Because I couldn't hold the hammer like I could with that sword earlier, that doesn't mean I could have taken the hammer and brought it into the kitchen.
Exactly. Starlo is innocent.
Yes, she may be, but not you.
What?
Wait, what?
Excuse me?
Huh?
What are you talking about?
Are you switching your accusation?
Why would you do that? Yeah, why would you do that? You think it's me all of a sudden?
Wait, hold on a second. What are you saying?
You need to enlighten us, Kirby, right now. It seems like you're going in circles and speaking nonsense.
I'm not Meta Knight. Starlo just confessed that she couldn't have been the one to hold the hammer. Despite her having magic, she couldn't seem to hold the sword earlier.
During that fake Rebuttal Showdown thing?
Yes, and because of this, she couldn't have also feasibly held the hammer in her mouth. But there was another person who's perfect friends with Starlo who could have held it. Dreambirds.
Are you kidding me right now?
Kirby, you're sounding very, very ridiculous. You accuse Starlo, which makes sense, but then you just shift to Dreambirds?
Aren't you getting a little bit out of focus?
No, because I have an idea. Think this over really quick for me. Well, I can prove it.
Wait, what the?
See, let me show you a little something. Add it onto our little map of the kitchen. Alright, take a look at this. Now, Rockwell was outside of the room just a few minutes before Surge died. Now, if we assume both Starlo and Dreambirds were both in the same room, this mystery nearly comes together.
How is that even possible?
See, Starlo would have walked by the window towards Surge, which Rockwell would have seen. However, if that was the case, she couldn't have been the one to push Surge into the outlet. It wouldn't have been possible. But there's one other thing we didn't account for. Dreambirds. They could have gone around, if they were working with Starlo, over to Surge and pushed them into the outlet. And we also know that Dreambirds must have also been there because of one little thing. The hammer. How does the hammer prove that they were in there? Simple, because Dreambirds has hands. Starlo doesn't. They could have easily... If Starlo was the only one in there, they couldn't have carried it over. But if Dreambirds were, they would have had the hammer and brought it over. That's how it ended up here. Because they're the only ones who could have carried. That would make a lot of sense.
I can't believe it. So one of you...
That's not true. You just messed up, Kirby. Big time.
Messed up?
You just said that I had to be the one with the hammer. If I was helping Starlo, an accomplice then. But if that is the case, how does that make sense? I couldn't have been the one to push Surge into the outlet if I had the hammer.
How does having the hammer prevent you from pushing Surge into the outlet?
Because my hands would have been full. And if I had pushed Surge in with the hammer, his body would have been dented before it was shoved in. But there were no dents. You all confirmed that yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, there were no dents on his body.
Not a single one.
So wait.
Exactly. I couldn't have had the hammer. I couldn't have gone around and pushed Surge into it if I was holding it.
And I can't hold it at all. Wait, no. So, what does this mean?
Well, it means neither of them could have done it.
What?
I mean, one could hold the hammer, yes, but the idea of accomplices...
And if one of them had the hammer, the Dreambirds, they couldn't have pushed not Surge without bringing it. Also, the hammer was on that side of the countertop, not the other. Shoot. No. Hold on a minute. I think there is a way that this must happen. Rockruff?
What are you being? The hero all of a sudden?
Yes.
What do you mean? Care to elaborate, Rockruff?
I was thinking to myself for a moment about how this could even be possible. I was really struggling, but something clicked in my head. We all know that either of these two must have done it. Everyone else has alibis. And we know for a fact Starlo was definitely in there. There's no other possibility for a floating light that wasn't standing still. Otherwise, because there was no flashlight, Starlo was definitely in there. If we assume the accomplice is right, Dreambirds was also in there as well.
How dare you?
But it seems like we're at an impasse. no way to guarantee which one had the hammer or which one actually did it. Because if we assume Dreambirds killed them, then that would mean they would have had the hammer and wouldn't have been able to do it. And Starlo can't carry the hammer or wasn't in the way. There's something we're missing. Something that can prove us right. Do we know what that is?
Well, what are we missing?
Would Surge really focus on someone, Starlo, the only person in that room who could have made a light source, not armed? He would have done something. I mean, come on, it would make sense. Even finding Starlo in the room would have been suspicious for him. He was someone who would have noticed things. He would have known that something was off, maybe even about to be killed. And yet, he still died.
That's why I'm pissed.
I know, Brock! Okay, listen. Hear me out. No matter what, one of them had to have the hammer. Whoever didn't have the hammer is the one who killed Surge.
But how is that possible? We have 2 suspects, yes, but which one would have done it? We can't just make a random vote, and we have no way of knowing which one specifically had the hammer.
Exactly, I couldn't have carried the hammer, like that sword earlier.
Or I wouldn't have been able to push Surge with the hammer in my hands. Otherwise, it would have caused a dent in his body. This is one quite big impasse. There's probably an answer. There must be an answer, right?
One of them had to have had that hammer. I don't know which one, but whoever didn't is the culprit. I need to think, Kirby. You can't do this. Why couldn't one of them have the hammer? I don't have arms. I couldn't have held the hammer.
And I couldn't have pushed Surge if I had the hammer without leaving an indent.
That means neither of us killed Surge.
They're the only 2 suspects in this murder who could have killed, though.
There's no one else besides them who could have feasibly done it.
And there's no evidence to prove which one of them did it. God damn it.
No, that's wrong! There's one piece of evidence we've been overlooking. One piece of evidence that proves which one of you must have had the hammer.
Oh, really?
You don't have anything, Kirby. There is one thing I have. Surge's shades.
His shades?
How did the glasses Shades like to wear impact anything? Well, let me go back to the map. I will show it to you. From the current point where we found the crime scene, the hammer was right by where the route Starlo would have took, and the glasses of Surge would have been the way Dreambirds would have took.
And how does this exactly prove which one of them did it?
Because of one thing. The glasses would have fallen whichever way Surge wasn't pushed.
Exactly, the force of motion. This means that whichever way he was pushed into the outlet, it would have fallen the other way.
Exactly. This means if Surge was definitely pushed from the side into the outlet, it fell perfectly into place, right where Dreambirds would have been. Then that would mean Starlo would have the hammer. And how does that make sense? I couldn't carry the hammer. No, there was a way you could have carried it.
Huh? Wait, there really was? But how is that correct?
Well, there is one thing that proves that it must have been you who must have carried that weapon. You couldn't have carried it in your mouth because you would have been weighed down. And you couldn't have been carrying it in any arms because you don't have any, neither between your legs. But you have one bar on your body that has a different weight measure than everything else.
Your star.
What?
But this super small, Kirby. For something to balance on it like that, it was very heavy. I don't know if something like that could balance on it. Well, you were all in the kitchen. Did she ever demonstrate anything?
Well, while we were cooking, she did kind of use it to carry all the meat that she was helping cook around. What? No.
This is wrong.
That's right. That means because of that, Starlo has to be the one who carried the hammer. No.
And that means Dreambirds pushed him. No.
And that means only one thing. If Starlo had the hammer and pushed it where Surge's shades would have been, it would have fallen down. And if you were busy pushing Surge, Dreambirds, then Starlo must have been the one to take the hammer and smash the shades. That means, Dreambirds, you're the one who really killed Surge.
That is not true.
Really?
So, it was Dreambirds?
How is,
No, that's not true. You can't prove it, Kirby. Alright, I confess. What the? Again? Again? Why again?
Starlo, what are you?
I did do it. I did carry the hammer. I was the one who walked by the window. I was the one Rockruff saw. I did it so I could distract Surge. That way, DreamWorks don't.
Starlo, what are you doing?
We were so close to. I can't. They know too much. We should have been aware that they would have figured this out since the beginning. Can't you? This.
No, I can't believe you would be giving up. We were so close to getting you out of here.
No,
You hear that? They just confessed. So, you really did do it, huh?
No, I didn't do it.
What do you mean?
You're something you've all been forgetting.
Dreambirds, please. It's over.
What do you mean there's something we've been forgetting?
What are you talking about?
While everyone was busy looking at Junior's little death, me and Starlo were getting food for Flareon.
Yes, that's true.
And we weren't there when Chalice got shocked.
He's also right about that. They weren't there when they saw me get electrocuted.
Huh. That's it. That's it.
What do you mean?
I wasn't there, neither was Starlo, to know that that electrified outlet would have killed him.
They weren't there, so they didn't know it existed. I was there with Chara while she was still alive, with Flareon, Chalice, and Eggman.
They were the ones who had left to get all the meats and fruits. And we weren't there and they weren't there when they saw Chalice get electrocuted.
No, but
Because of this, I wouldn't have known that outlet was electrified or even overcharged. That is it. The end of this case. I could not have done it because I did not know about that electrified outlet. And neither could Starlo have been in there.
please, Dreambirds, you don't have to.
I'm not giving up. I am the ruler of Pillow Island. It is my sworn duty to keep on fighting till the very end. And this is the final nail in my coffin. One that will not be pierced, Kirby. You can't do this. You cannot.
No, I can prove it. I know it was you. You may be making a lie right now, but I can prove that you still must have been the one to push him. There's no other option. I must prove it. The others can distract you while I think it over. They can prove why it must be you. They believe me at this point.
I will not be moved, Kirby. I will keep my ground. I did not kill Surge.
The prince would never kill anybody.
Could it really be them, of all people?
Let's give him a chance to defend himself.
Surge wears shades. He couldn't have seen the yellow light in the dark with them.
You really think Surge would be dumb enough to wear his shades in the dark?
Exactly what I've been saying.
He wouldn't have seen a thing wearing
But
them.
we've never seen him take them off before.
There was nothing that could have made such a light at the crime scene.
The light was from Starlo. I saw her through the kitchen window.
You wouldn't have known this if not for Rockruff. I can't believe you convinced them to help you murder.
Why we're together? I know they're friends, but probably because they trusted each other.
If we believe Surge died by electrocution, why would I bring the hammer? You used the hammer as a fake weapon to throw us all off.
Duh, the Monokuma file proved
And
this.
so did the black sperm spawn.
He's
Surge's
losing
back.
chances to argue against our claims. You all believe I worked with Starlo to kill, but it's just speculation.
Dreambirds, please. We've lost. They all know. Give up already. For me.
I can't. I won't allow an easy defeat for myself and you. How could I have pushed Surge into the outlet if I didn't even know about it?
You accidentally pushed him into the outlet because you were never warned about it.
I can't accept this defeat.
You're right, Dreambirds. You didn't know about the electrified outlet. It wasn't part of your plan, even, was it?
What are you saying?
Don't tell me. You didn't plan on pushing Surge into the electrified outlet, because you never knew about it. The others are there to back you up that you weren't there. It was an accident, wasn't it? Wait, how did you...
It was no accident. I didn't
know about the electrified outlet. Starlo didn't either. It was a murder that was meant to be killed with the hammer. But how does that work in Dreambird's favor if he wasn't intending to push him. Well, why? Well, it's confusing. I'm not sure. I can explain all of it. I will.
No, Starlo, we're so close. I can think of something else.
I'm done! Dreambirds, you've been caring for me and putting me under your rule ever since I visited your island, and I trusted you more like a friend. I know when to stop things, and it's going to stop here. I declare that this all ceases right now. I will explain everything, why this all happened, and how you are right, Kirby, if you recite everything, in this case, correctly. That's it. If you do it, I'll confess the truth to everyone.
No, Starlo, please.
You're right. I can't do this. Let us do this again. Here's everything that happened in this case.
This time, there were 2 murders in this case, so let's tackle them one by one. Last night, the first murderer, or also our victim, ended up coming to one of the servants, telling them that they planned to kill themselves to get their brother out of the killing game. Hearing this, he let them know that it was perfectly fine thanks to the rules. Despite their request of not wanting to do it, the culprit proceeded.
The culprit decided to use the storage room to plan out their murder.
While in the storage room, they soon found a spot that was perfect for them. A perfect crime scene place. But they had to prepare some stuff first. Using a knife which they took from helping with the feast yesterday, they would take it and proceed to cut off part of their hair. By cutting off their hair and planting it, this was the first piece of fabricated evidence for a fake crime scene. Next up, they took the knife and began scratching at a wall to create fake claw marks to make it seem like our killer had claws, the second piece of fabricated evidence. And lastly, they would make it seem like they were the main victim by taking the knife and stabbing themselves in the abdomen. Despite the pain, the culprit took the bleeding abdomen that they had caused on themselves and took all the blood and began to write out some bloody messages, one by one. They made sure all these messages were very secret, not pointing at a direct killer, but emphasizing that there was one, someone else besides them. By doing this, they would proceed to back up against the wall for the last step of their plan. Despite them already having a wound, they weren't finished yet. They had to off themselves, the perfect suicide for the perfect case. That way no one would figure out that it was them. They took the knife, lifted it up to their neck. The moment they slit their neck, they threw it across the room into a little spot against the corner. With this wound, the culprit would slowly begin to bleed out from the neck. It wasn't long before they had died, and created a fake crime scene to make it seem like they were murdered, but they made a suicide, only to save and claim themselves victorious to get their brother out of the killing game. But that wasn't the only murder that had happened this night. Much earlier in that very same night, one of the servants had told us who were helping set up the feast for tomorrow that someone would be able to stay behind under Monokuma's rule to watch over all the food. That way, none of it would get cold for tomorrow, and Serge had offered himself that night to be able to willingly help prepare everything for this feast tomorrow, willing to stay up overnight. But because of the servant's rule change, and Serge offering himself, the culprit and their accomplice immediately had begun devising a plan to kill Serge that very night. Once the nighttime hours had begun, Serge was staying in the kitchen, keeping all the food we hated for that feast tomorrow. That was when the culprit and their accomplice showed up with a very vile weapon. The plan was simple. The accomplice would sneak in through the front, distract Serge with the hammer, and by doing so, they would be able to wait while the culprit would sneak up from behind, trip up the victim, and be able to kill while the accomplice killed Serge. The reason why the accomplice would kill Serge was because so they could get their other partner free from this case and be able to get them out of the killing game. However, they did not expect that the real culprit would be the one to kill. The accomplice would enter the kitchen through the front route, sledgehammer in hand. Serge, however, had noticed this and began to notice the accomplice coming towards them. They were ready to attack, but another person noticed this. Rockruff. As they were walking by the kitchen to search for the mastermind, they had ended up finding and seeing a light in the window to the kitchen.
However, knowing the rules, they couldn't enter, but they didn't know it was available that night, so they ended up walking by. If only they had done something.
Besides that, everything was going according to plan. The accomplice had the sledgehammer and seemed like they were about to attack Surge, but Surge would never expect what had came next. The real culprit had came from the other direction and tripped up Surge. With a rough push, they managed to knock him down, or at least in the wrong way, because what had happened next from this push, they could have never expected. This push was so strong, they made Surge hit an outlet in the kitchen, which was more overcharged than any of the others, too full of electricity. Because of this, they had landed into it, and they began to feel an immense shock in their body, one which overheated them to the point where they were killed. Due to the immense amount of electricity and overheating in their body, and the black smudge that was caused on their back due to landing in the outlet, they were dead. Seeing Surge dead, their plan had failed. The accomplice wasn't the one to kill Surge. It was the real culprit who had killed him. They had to improvise quickly. What they did, they took Surge's glasses off. They had removed Surge's shades, took the sledgehammer, and smashed him with it. By breaking Surge's glasses, they had made it seem like their actual plan had gone into full tuition, hitting him with the sledgehammer when they really didn't. But they had no time to add anything else or remove anything from the crime scene. They had to leave. The culprit and the accomplice had left the sledgehammer, Surge's body, and all the evidence. After all, there was nothing they could do. Their plan had failed, and now they had to cover up for the real culprit instead, and think of a way out of the next class trial.
The person who killed themselves to get out the killing game was Chara, but they weren't the ones who killed Surge. No, that was you two. Dreambirds and Starlo, you both worked together to kill Surge. Isn't that right?
And that is that. The case is over. We've solved it.
So you really did kill Surge. Why would you?
I wasn't meant to kill them.
What?
He said he wasn't meant to kill them. Listen, I will tell you everything now. I was the one who was supposed to kill Surge.
What?
What?
Huh?
What are you saying?
What do you mean you're the one who was supposed to?
How does that even work?
Or make sense? See, it's hard to explain. Where do I even begin?
Just start over from the beginning, Starlo. Tell them everything.
Yes, sire. I'll tell them. Dreambirds did kill Surge. The reason it happened was because of the motive. When we learned that if one of us killed another person to escape, we could finally leave. And one of us would be free.
But why kill over that motive?
The plan was simple. We'd wait for someone to be alone, find a perfect chance, and we'd make a plan to kill them. I would be the one to kill whoever it was we went after. That way, we would win the trial, and I would pick Dreambirds to leave the killing game. All to go back to their kingdom. You did it so they could leave the game.
And attempt to return back to their kingdom, the one they rule.
Yes, we didn't know who we were gonna kill, but we just knew that I would be the one to kill. That way, if we won, I could pick Dreambirds to go home. He has an entire kingdom, people who need him and his help. Not everyone can do it all by themselves. It's hard, but I had to do something, so I decided that we would kill.
Once we heard that Surge would have been guarding the kitchen alone, we knew it was our time.
We took everything that we had. I got a hammer before Chara had showed up in the basement.
And we had devised a plan. I would go through the main front routes to divert Surge's attention.
And I would have gone through the back, hiding out of sight from Starlo's glow. That way they wouldn't have expected me.
I carried the hammer over, using my antenna. And then, once we got over, the whole goal was that Dreambirds would trip Surge, stun him for a bit, while I would use the hammer and deal the finishing blow to their head.
So you were meant to be the one who killed him?
How did it
go wrong?
Because when I was trying to trip up Surge for Starlo to kill him, I pushed him into the outlet. I didn't know about it. I pushed him straight into it. He got electrified on his back. It shocked him. He let out a very robotic scream and then he died. His body was scorching hot and smoke was everywhere. I wasn't expecting it.
We knew we had messed up, but we had to cover up as soon as we could. I took the time to smash the glasses and keep the hammer there while we all ditched.
We planned to get this over with, but my actions resulted in us failing. I wanted to go home. Starla would have helped me get back to my kingdom, but now that we failed, I guess I'm going to perish.
But Surge would have fought back the moment he saw Starlo with the hammer, right? I mean, he had to. It's Surge.
No, he didn't fight back. He let this happen.
He said that he was honored to be around and to let us do what we were doing. He wanted to help us, even if it was wrong. I mean, he's the ultimate hero. He saw the good in your heart. Even if you were killing him, he knew he was to save the other. Yes, but it backfired. So, we messed up, and
then, after the case, Chara died a few hours later.
I can't believe this.
So that's how it all happened.
Dreambirds, Starlo, we're so sorry you messed up, but...
Foo-hoo-hoo. Well, there's no time to be so apologetic about it. We have one more thing to get through with. The voting!
The voting.
But why?
You already know the killer. You all said it yourself. So, I think it's about time we get to voting.
I knew this would come. I'm going to be voted out now. I just know it's...
No! Please, don't vote Dreambirds!
What are you...
I know he killed someone, but it was an accident. I was the one who was intentionally supposed to kill. I was the one who had planned everything to get Dreambirds out of the game. Don't vote Dreambirds. It's my fault. Please don't vote him.
No, don't listen to her. I made a mistake and I can't. I have to be the right ruler and give up.
Starlo, we hear your cries, but we can't vote for you.
Yeah, if we vote for you, Dreambirds would have no one to save or leave the killing game. And they get to choose. If they choose to get someone executed, they may do that if they win.
They are right. Wouldn't it be best to pick the safer option, Dreambirds?
But Starlo, I mean, they didn't mean it. It was their fault, shouldn't they? No, that's not true. Just because someone is voted as the culprit and survives doesn't mean that Blackened has to kill anyone, execute, or save.
Huh? What are you getting at?
What Coral told us. The loopholes in this game. The motives say that you can pick someone to get executed or save in this motive, but it doesn't mean you have to. It's not saying you must. It's just that you can.
Excuse me? Quirrell?
What the fuck? Coral?
Do you mind explaining?
What? I was just confessing the truth to them. They wanted examples as how rules could be broken, like you did, and I gave them one. Is that an issue?
Oh, you little rat.
Oh, Quirrell. Oh, you're gonna be in such a surprise once we're done with this class trial. Think you can convince others to break the rules?
It's not breaking, Monokuma. It's written that you only can, not that you must.
Exactly. This means that if we don't vote Dreambirds, they don't have to pick any...
No. That's not how the rules are supposed to be played.
Then why did you write them out that way?
Because... Fine, if you break the rules and do this way, then I swear, Dreambirds...
So you just confessed I was the Blackened.
Shit! Even if they won't be able to pick anyone to be executed or saved, it's fine. They don't need it. I was the one responsible. Please just let me go. No. See, it doesn't do anything because of the rules. I'm the one at fault here, not Dreambirds. So please, I beg of all of you, vote me instead, not Dreambirds. No, vote me. I'm the one responsible.
Woohoo, we're done here. Everyone, get out your tablets and get to voting
You won't
immediately.
get to pick or be
Now,
exempt from
if you all
motives.
decide to vote Starlo instead of Dreambirds, I'll say now, because of the rule break that has just been made.
Dreambirds won't be able to pick anyone to be free now. So, it's either or. A safe decision. Starlo or Dreambirds? I don't know who to vote. There's so much. They're both taking the blame, but I have to pick one. I feel like I'm gonna be the deciding factor. But I know who to vote. There we go. All the votes have been cast. Now then, we will see who received the most votes and who will be
Dreambirds won't be
executed
exempt
today.
from any motives,
Now,
or be
show
able
us
to
the
choose
results
who
of
he
the
wants
voting.
to live due to the new motive.
The votes have been cast. We have 7 votes for Dreambirds and 9 votes for Starlo. Starlo has received the most votes and will soon be punished.
No. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. You listened.
It was very tough.
I didn't even know what I was doing at first.
Starlo got the most.
So they will be voted out, even despite Dreambirds being the one to kill. That is why, Starlo. I could have just taken the blame. You have an entire kingdom to rule. I'm just a servant. I can't do it all myself. I'm not like you. I'm just your friend. You're not just a friend, Starlo. You take care of so much in my kingdom. I found you more than a friend. I liked you. Oh, please stop making this emotional for me. But Starlo, I did. Why won't you? I just wanted. This is all too much. I think I'm crying a little bit. What's the matter? Are you gonna kick their ass now? No, I don't know what to feel. Please, Dreambirds, promise me this. Even if I'm about to be executed, save everyone. You can just get out of this killing game and get back to your kingdom. You have to rule everyone. You have to. I can't do it without you, Starlo. Yes, you can. Everyone here means good. I messed up. I need to take the blame. I'm so sorry, everyone. Starlo, no. Now then, Starlo, the ultimate helper, has been apparently found guilty. They will now receive punishment. Thank you, everyone. I'm so sorry I did this to you, Brock. I'm so sorry, Azriel. I'm ready. No, Starlo, please, don't go. I need you. I'm sorry, Dreambirds. I'm sorry, Dreambirds.
Ooh, extreme.
Dreambirds! No! Starlo. Starlo, no. Why would you? Dreambirds! Are you okay? Your hand! I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine.
That is a deep cut in your hand, pierced all the way through. That needs to be treated, or else
Zach, we got to help him. Monokuma, just tell us if he was the killer or not. We need to get out of here. No, move aside. I can help him. So, why? I have slight healing abilities. I can... Here, let me see if I can... I got it.
Good job.
But, Dreambirds, Why, Starlo?
fuck you, Monokuma. Fuck you.
Hey, I wasn't gonna let you stop the execution with your portal thingy. Anyways, now let us see if Starlo was the blackened or not. Sorry, Starlo was not the blackened. The real blackened was Dreambirds. But you all knew that, so I can't make that a big reveal. Fuck. You know what? I'm done with this trial anyways. You all ruined it for me in the excitement of getting it wrong. Just keep on going ahead. Leave the room. Shut up. It's going to be okay, right?
No. Starlo, why? Starlo. It's going to be okay, Dreambirds. It's going... No! Let go of me. Starlo! No! Starlo! Why would you...